My mom and daddy met late in life playing in bar bands in Florida, and mother had me when she was 42 years old.
And when you cross a hillbilly with a Georgia cracker, Elizabeth's what you get. See, that's the results. Her mother was always, she had a passion to sing all of her life. And she, Elizabeth started singing right along with her. So she said, well, so that kid can carry a pitch.
So every once in a while they'd let me sing a song. At band rehearsal I'd sing, hey, hey, good looking, or something like that. Eventually they sort of started getting me up at shows, and then it just sort of snowballed. And those women at that time were singing songs that my mama was living, and my mama was writing songs like that too and singing them around the house. And so it was just part of sort of the soundtrack of my life. So that's how I learned to sound. Just having an accent, I guess it's from what you hear as a child learning to say words or whatever, and the same thing with music. So things come out through that filter. Working all weekend, Saturday, weekend rolls around like the weight off our back. That was some sort of last-minute cosmic thing that came together at Bonnaroo. I was there with Todd Snyder sitting in. Don was playing bass. We met. He was like, hey, love to record you sometime. I was like, hey, I need to make a record soon.
And I really didn't, I knew the one song, but I wasn't aware of her entire oeuvre, you see. And I was just knocked out by her. She had the basic country music thing down, the Loretta Lynn hillbilly music singing down, but it was obvious that there was a whole lot more to it than that. It was obvious talking to her for 2 seconds that she was very intelligent, and so I was very impressed. She's hip and smart, and yet rooted deeply in tradition. And
I just liked him. I just thought, wow, I just want to be around this person and have fun and record. And he's very in the moment. We probably landed here at the first day of tracking looking at 30 songs, knowing that realistically we were going to track 3 songs a day for 4 days. So that's less than half of those are going to get cut. There's been a beautiful piece about it because we're doing what feels good when it feels good. It's like, oh, now I feel like playing a country ballad.
Yeah. That's really good.
Yeah, that's got a spot, doesn't it? We don't have a torch
that
ballad.
That should do it, thanks.
Yeah. Elizabeth had worked on all these great songs. She'd been writing songs, so the real work was done, before I even got off the plane in Nashville.
Don has placed a tremendous amount of trust in me. He let me hire all the players that I wanted to hire, guys that I know that he had never heard of.
I was so impressed with this group of musicians, man, because there's some very traditional guys, and there's some fringe guys, really fringe if you think about country music, and they all blended together perfectly. Because what they have in common is they all listen, and they listen to the singer, which is really critical, and everyone's reacting to Elizabeth's vocals. They're all really tuned into it. So
this is like, you got a bobby pin in your bag? Yes. You have chiclets? Yes. I have a little bit of everything. Marco Giovino is playing drums with me. I first met him through his wife, Kylie Harris. I met him, and the first time I played with him, I thought, it's the best drummer I've ever played with. And I really believe that. Bones Hillman's from a band called Midnight Oil. They were a huge band out of Australia. He's been a rock star. He decided he wanted to play upright bass. He wanted to come to Nashville and play upright bass. Steel player is Tony Paoletta. Just a little fella lives up in Goodlettsville. Used to play on the Opry, I think, with Jeannie Seeley back in the day. Matt Combs is playing fiddle and mandolin. He's the one-man Philharmonic this week.
That's hot. That's going on the EPK. That's on the front of it.
We were here till after midnight. He was laying just track after track of strings, and he's a brilliant, genius musician. Shocked Don completely. Didn't realize that he could create a string arrangement basically in about 30 minutes and then record it. It took us about an hour because we doubled 4 parts. And who else? Tim Carroll. He has this rough punk rock attack of playing country music that I love and that excites me. so it's always different, and that keeps me from getting bored musically. And this will be the first album where I was outside the system enough to have him featured, not just included, but featured in helping to lead the musical direction of the album, which is as it should be.
Don came in the first day, sort of met everyone and gave everybody a little talk about, you know, don't try to play as if you're playing on a record. It'll be a record. Just play, be creative, make up things, play whatever, have ideas, do whatever you want. But when we went out in the room to actually record, he was sitting right next to me. So I'm standing there with my guitar, and Don was just to my right, and I had to kind of not think about that while I was playing, or else I might be intimidated and play in an inhibited way or something. So they had the machine recording all the time, so whenever we captured even a practice take of a song, a very first take, you know, practice, not even the first take, Krish and Don had always already recorded it. So we never had to go, okay, now let's try and do it for real and see if we can be as good as that was. We always already had it. That was a beautiful thing about making this record for me.
We're isolated from each other in some way, you know, the amps are placed or whatever, but we can all see each other, and then the core is in the room together. I think being able to see somebody's body language is important. The way Marco Giovino plays drums, he plays with his entire body. I can see Bones Hillman, and I can see Tim moving. I can see Don and sitting in the center of the room, you know, like the wizard.
But here we've really tried to do something that's rooted in tradition, but that you haven't heard before. And I think we've done that. I'm pretty excited.
I had this sort of fabulous, unexpected thing happen with a satellite radio show. I have a show on Outlaw Country, which is Sirius XM, and I have a morning show from 6 to 10 a.m. Eastern Time, weekday mornings, called Apron Strings. Good morning, beautiful outlaw people. This is Elizabeth Cook. You're listening to Apron Strings on your Sirius XM satellite radio. Ain't you something with your satellite? And I just play outlaw music and some Americana music and some old school music, and talk about household tips and recipes and whatever's going on. I don't know what's going to happen this weekend. I'm going to make something to eat. Might make some beans or something, or order in. But you know, ordering in, you don't know what people put in stuff. It's regressive talk radio, I say. Talk about nothing, but we have fun. Reach around you.